Okay, let's look at Chapter 1, Section 1. Our standard is understand the use of undefined terms, definitions, postulates, and theorems, and logical arguments. What we want you to learn when we're done, be able to do, is name points, lines, and planes. Vocabulary is undefined terms, point, line, plane, collinear points, coplanar points. Using undefined terms in geometry, the words point, line, and plane are what we call undefined terms. They're undefined terms because they do not have a formal definition, but there is an understanding that there is an agreement that we have the same idea of what they mean. Core concepts. Yeah, undefined terms, point, line, plane. Here's some vocabulary words for you. You'll need to go ahead and open a Google Doc, go in and get into a Google Doc and type it up. That way you can save it in your folder, in your Google Drive. If you don't remember how to do that, they are in your onboarding lessons from yesterday. I believe time block 6 is where I went through with it. A point has no dimension. A dot represents a point. So that will look like, let's do this. That's point A. Line. A line has one dimension. It is represented by a line with two arrowheads. So if I have line AB here, the way I show that is I can write the word line AB. I can say line AB with the line over it. I can say line BA because that is the same line. If there's a little cursive letter out here sticking somewhere, you can name that line M also. So these are the ways that you can name a line using that information. Plane. A plane has two dimensions. It is represented by a shape that looks like a floor or a wall, but it extends without ends. Through any 3 points not on the same line, there is exactly one plane. To draw that, just draw something that looks like the floor or wall. Most of the time you'll see it with a slant. That's a parallelogram, but that's okay. Just draw a square. This represents a plane. 3 points not on the same line is how you name it. So if you have point A, point B, point C, that is plane ABC. You can rearrange the order of the letters. It doesn't matter. It's okay. And if you have a capital letter here without a dot by it, that's another way to name it. Plane M. So these are the ways that you can name them. Collinear points. Points that lie on the same line. So if we're back to looking at a line, I have A here, I have B here, I have C here. These points are what we call collinear. They're on the same line. If you pay attention to the word collinear.
Miss White, if you're in the building, come to the front office, please.
Miss White is in the building somewhere. The word line is in collinear. Coplanar points, points that lie on the same plane. Again, you have that word plane right there, so you'll think about coplanar. So if the points are on the same plane, A, B, and C here are considered coplanar because they're on the same plane. So let's look at some naming points, lines, and planes. With this picture, this whole lot going on. This rectangle here is your plane. This is a line. This is a line. See how the line is solid here, stops, and it's dotted, and then starts again? That's like putting a pencil through a piece of paper where you only see part of it. So this you can see, but that goes behind the paper. You can't see it, but it is still there. So we want to give two other names for line. This is line, PQ. So where's PQ at? PQ is this one here. This is the one that has the dotted behind it. From the previous slide, we can say line N. We can reverse the Q and the P, so we can say QP with the line with the two arrows, or we can say line QP. Both are acceptable, so it doesn't really matter. The next one says name 3 points that are collinear. Collinear, remember, look at the word. It's got that word, line in it. So we want collinear points, points that are on the same line. Well, if I look at this one again, there's only 2 points here. This is not a point on it, so you can't say line, point N. Here are your 3 points, S, P, and T. S, P, and T are collinear. If we look at the next one, name 4 points that are coplanar. Coplanar, on the plane. So on the plane, in this rectangle here, this R here is not a point, it doesn't have a dot with it. That is another name for the plane. So let's look at that. You have S, P, T, and V. Those are the only 4 points that can be in any order. Assignment is in your book.